Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hey guys, happy Homebrew Wednesday. This is Chris from Brick and Mortar Brewing, and I am excited today to review one of the beers I got from Elder Pete down in Illinois. I will definitely, he's now the northern half of Under the Table Brewing. I will put his channel down below. What I'm going to dive into today is Elder's Cherry Stout, coming in at an exact 5.775% ABV. So I have let it sit out for maybe 45 minutes, close to an hour, just to get some temp on it. And we're going to dive in. So let's give it a crack. Nice little hiss. Right away, some nice tan carbonation off the bat. Awesome looking beer. Super dark. Cannot get any darker than that. Lots of chocolatey undertones. Roast. And then under all of that, there's like this fruitiness, which I know is the cherry. But it's sitting under the layer of roast. And it doesn't smell like a super sweet cherry either, which is really cool. Yeah, great looking beer, Elder. Thanks for sending it. Cheers. I'm going to dive right in. So, there seems to be quite a bit of hop profile in this. I think that's what I'm getting anyway. I always get nervous when I review because I'm definitely no expert at it, but just explaining what I taste. And I get a nice hop bitter finish. The cherry is super subtle, which is better than going overboard with it. And you definitely get the roast character. Maybe that's actually what maybe it's not as hoppy as I initially described. It might just be the roast characteristic on the finish. But really a tasty beer, Elder. Great job. Yeah, I guess I'm going to call that the roast finish. The palate is adjusting now. But the cherry is super subtle. I don't know if it's aged, and dissipated over time, or if he intended on it being subtle, but nonetheless, you still know it's there. So yeah, awesome job, Elder. Thank you once again for sending it. It was an honor to receive the beer mail and then find out who it was from. And I will definitely return the favor once I have some beers ready to go. Which brings me to that update. What's going on at Brick and Mortar? I have a crap ton of beer in fermentation. The tap fridge right now has my second 5 gallons of my Iron Brewer beer, which was the pancake breakfast beer. And I also have 5 gallons of a beer that I brewed for another competition that started with a guy in Madison, Wisconsin, and he put the challenge out to brew a beer with candy and a spice of some sort. So I brewed a brown ale, and in the mash tun I put probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 Take 5 candy bars from Hershey's. And then at the end of the boil, I also, in a muslin bag, put another 5 or 6 candy bars. And then for my spice, I used a smoked paprika the last 10 minutes of the boil also. So I think it's turned out pretty well. The candy bar didn't really come out as much as I thought it would from all that exposure, or quantity of candy. But I also didn't want to, risk it anymore by putting any more actual chocolate in. So in secondary, I put some cocoa nibs and peanuts that I had soaked in vodka. I put those in the fermenter, and holy cow, the peanut, the roast peanut, it doesn't taste like peanut butter, but the roast peanut flavor came out, and the cocoa nibs really contributed quite a bit. And then on top of that, I used some of the amaretti cocoa or cacao extract, just a touch, just to add just that extra layer of chocolate. So I think as it's kegging, it's kegged now, and it's kind of conditioning in there with the carbonation. I think it's really turning out to be a pretty tasty beer. So my wife thinks it's a little smoky, but I don't really pick up as much smoke as she's claiming there is. It's definitely not like I used smoked malt. That gets kind of more pronounced in the beer. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So in fermentation, I have lots going on. This, though, I wanted to show you. This is my second batch of Helles, and it has I lager down to 28 degrees, and I just hit 28 degrees on Monday. So it's been in the lager fridge after diacetyl rest for maybe, I don't know, 5 days. And I mean, look at the clarity on this beer. When I spin it, I mean, you can still see the logo right through the glass. It is so awesome. I mean, I could drink it without carbonation. It's just that good. It's got an awesome lager yeast character on the nose. And a nice malt, not sweetness, but when you chew a kernel of Pilsner malt, that's pretty much what this represents, with a very, very subdued, noble hop character. So, man, I just love this style, and I want to keep brewing these for sure. So on top of the Helles, I also have the collaboration beer. Josh Secour and I were paired up to brew a beer, and that for me is in secondary. I don't believe he has brewed his yet, so hopefully he'll be able to get to that soon, because they need to be shipped by the end of May. So time's a ticking, Josh. I also have 2 versions of a porter. I split off the batch 5 and 5 to 1 of the 5 gallons. I did a raspberry hazelnut puree that Amaretti sent me, and that is really turning out good. I'm going to have to add a little more hazelnut to it, but the raspberry was really, pronounced for a while. I was kind of worried I'd put too much in, even though I was going off of what they recommended. But it's mellowing out pretty good. And then the other half, the straight up untouched porter, I'm going to put a little vanilla in it, and then do my first nitro tap down tap room here. So I'm excited about that. A couple weeks ago, not last week, but the weekend before, I brewed, actually it was Easter weekend. Yeah. So on Good Friday, I brewed a pale ale. And then on Saturday, I brewed my black IPA that goes over coffee beans. And those are both ready to be sent to secondary and dry hopped. Both are turning out awesome. Then the Helles, like I mentioned. And then this weekend, I am brewing my first ever New England or Northeast IPA. And I am super stoked. After watching Kevin Clemence's video on his success with his first New England IPA, I've been doing a lot of research, and Zymergy and Brew Your Own magazine, both of those had awesome articles. There's been it seems like there's been lots of articles coming out, and they all have little slightly different tidbits of info. And then Beersmith did a podcast that mentioned it as well. So I am looking forward to it. I can't believe how much hops I'm going to be using. With dry hop included, I think it totals just over 16.5 ounces or 17.5 ounces for a 10-gallon batch. So it's going to be huge. I'm using 4 different hops, which I will report on after I brew it. I'll hopefully get some footage. I'm going to have a couple friends over experiencing it with me. So maybe we'll get some actual cameraman footage, throw one of them into the cameraman role, and see what we can get. So other than that, once that beer is done, the majority of the beers that I rattled off will be going to a work event that has about 350 people come around to it. And so I get to put my beers in, for them to taste, and definitely get lots of free critiques. So it's a great experience. But then after that, my wife and I are looking to do a little gathering at the house for some coworkers of hers. And so she asked me if I wanted to brew some beers for it. And I was like, outside of brewing for my own experiments and experience, it's always great to brew for an event, a purpose. So, a purpose outside of self. So I decided that I'm going to brew an Oktoberfest. Even though the event is late August, I'll have an Oktoberfest then ready for the fall. I'm going to brew my first Mexican lager. I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm going to do a Saison. I'm going to do my first Berliner Weiss. And what was the fourth one? I don't remember. Or fifth one, I mean. I don't remember now. Saison. Oh, I'm going to rebrew the New England IPA. So that should be awesome. It's going to be a great couple of months of lots of beer brewing. So outside of that, guys, that is all I have for this week. Sorry about no Homebrew Wednesday last week. Hopefully you all checked out the band video. We are actually playing at Capitol Brewery in Madison this Friday. It's actually their first beer garden outdoor event of this season. So looking forward to that. It's a nice 3-hour gig. Lots of people potentially going to be there, a couple hundred hopefully, and lots of beer. So check out the band. I'll put a link below. We got a cheesy little YouTube channel with some phone capture video footage. It's a great time. It's definitely my other love outside of beer brewing. Oh, allergy season. I am not getting tearful on you guys. Or teared up. But anyway, so yeah, The Dirty Groove is the band. So lots of fun. Lots of work. But same as brewing. Lots of fun, but lots of work. So cheers, everybody. Oh, and before I forget, as I ramble on, holy crap, 15 minutes, I gotta end this. Thank you, everybody. 94 subscribers. I am just over the moon about that. Almost 100, and I only have like 11 videos. So I totally appreciate you all. I appreciate all your comments. I'm sorry if I've missed getting back to some of them with a reply, but I do look at each and every one, and I appreciate them all. So cheers and much love to you guys, and we will catch you next time. Until then, keep on brewing, keep on enjoying friends, beers, craft beers, experimenting. Just keep diving in wholeheartedly to this hobby. It's so rewarding, and you know, even a bad batch is pretty drinkable for the most part. So cheers, everybody. This is Chris. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.